Hello everyone and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at something just absolutely incredible and honestly a bit nostalgic. We're talking about the enduring, transformative power of the personal letter. You know, in our crazy, fast-paced digital world, taking the actual time to put pen to paper, it's kind of become a lost art. But as we're going to see today, a physical letter holds this weight and a permanence that a quick text message simply can't touch. So to explore this, we're examining a truly profound artifact from Chapter 14 of the book Product of Culture, Who Are the Colesmiths, Book 1. We're going to look really closely at the encouragement, the wisdom, and the deep generational guidance contained within a single, powerful letter from a grandfather to his grandson. Okay, let's dive into this and really set the scene here. We're introduced to Mark, who is a young man navigating a seriously profound moment of transition in his life. He sits down, totally alone, taking refuge under the shade of a sprawling oak tree. And from his pocket, he pulls out an envelope addressed specifically to him. Now, this isn't just a random piece of mail, right? It represents a literal threshold. Sitting there under that oak tree, a young boy is preparing to cross right over into adulthood, guided entirely by the written words he's holding in his hands. It's just a beautifully quiet, solitary moment right before a massive emotional impact hits. And hey, right before we open that envelope along with Mark, I do want to briefly credit the amazing team behind this narrative. This scene was masterfully written by author James Lynch Jr., and if you check out the audio version, it is just brought to life so vividly by narrator Lee Allen. Their collaboration absolutely elevates these written words. It transforms them into a living, breathing voice that resonates so deeply. It perfectly captures that magic, that exact moment when you read a letter from someone you love, and you can literally hear their voice echoing in your head. So to really understand the stakes here, we have to look at Grandpa Alvin's striking opening words to his grandson. He starts the letter directly, no beating around the bush, saying, "I know you are in a lot of pain right now." And man, immediately we are anchored right there in the heavy emotional reality of Mark's situation. Grandpa Alvin doesn't sugarcoat it. He doesn't offer these empty, cliché platitudes. He meets Mark exactly where he is, right in the depths of his grief. It's such a powerful testament to the pure intimacy that a written letter allows. Section 1, the light blue letter. This source text gives us some gorgeous sensory details here. I mean, think about it. In an era where we all get well over 100 digital notifications a day, actually holding a physical letter is incredibly rare. And this wasn't just jotted down in some cheap scrap of notebook paper. Oh no, it's written on this light blue stationery paper. At the top middle, serving as a letterhead, is this elegant indented gold-style C representing the Colesmith family name. The author actually makes a point to note that this high-quality paper was expensive. And Mark, he actually traces his fingers right around that indented gold C. It totally emphasizes how the physical traits of the letter itself, the texture, the weight, the sheer expense of it, instantly establish it as a treasured family artifact. It commands absolute respect before a single word is even read. Section 2, moving through the grief. This next part brilliantly illustrates exactly what makes Grandpa Alvin's advice so incredibly timeless. He writes, "Just as I know you will grieve for now, I also know you will move on and find joy in the future." Look at that perfect balance. He acknowledges Mark's deep pain. He's literally giving him permission to feel it. But then he immediately throws him a lifeline toward future hope. It's just a masterful piece of guidance. He isn't saying the pain doesn't matter, right? But he is promising that the pain isn't the end of the story. Alvin then breaks this whole journey down into these incredibly structured, compassionate steps for navigating the grief. First, he tells Mark, basically, you're a man now, and unfortunately, this isn't going to be the last time you experience death. So step 1, you need to experience it and actually grieve. But step 2 is acknowledging a really hard truth. Life goes on with the rest of the world. The world around us, it just doesn't stop. And finally, step 3, Mark has to learn to function in that world again and ultimately find joy. It's a remarkably pragmatic yet just deeply loving framework for stepping back into a functioning life after a major loss. Section 3, using mind over fists. Now, what's really interesting about this is the stark contrast Alvin sets up between boyhood and true adulthood. Grandpa Alvin explicitly tells Mark, point blank, that he will not be able to solve everything with his fists anymore. That's the past. That's how a child reacts to conflict. Looking to the future, Mark's going to have to use his mind. Adulthood requires intellect, it requires restraint, and a whole lot of strategy. It's a really powerful call to elevate his behavior. And Alvin absolutely doesn't stop there. He delivers this rapid-fire series of life lessons, just densely packing the single piece of paper with actionable generational wisdom. Let's break it down. First, remember your mother and care for your sister Sophia. Keep her bond and trust because she is always going to be there for you. Next, he prepares Mark for the real world. Society has all sorts of people. Treat them all with dignity, but, and here's the reality check, be realistic because some of them won't treat you the same way back. He urges Mark to think critically about his actions and his words. Furthermore, he warns him, never, ever let any man control your mind. And finally, he gives him this profound spiritual directive. Continue the search for the Father of Fathers. You can actually feel a deep urgency in Alvin's plea right here regarding that spiritual search. He warns Mark not to be misled by skeptics, the people who will try to convince him that there's no such person as this Father of Fathers. Alvin writes, I tell you today, son, all of this can't be for nothing. He's basically begging his grandson to hold firmly onto his spiritual search and his deeper purpose. He's grounding him in a sense of meaning that goes so far beyond the immediate raw pain he's experiencing in that moment. Section 4. The power of written words. This specific line from the text, it perfectly captures the pure magic of written artifacts. As Mark reads, the words on the paper turned into his grandpa's voice. And honestly, this is exactly why a letter is so much more than just ink sitting on a page. It bridges the gap between life and death, between absence and presence. Because Alvin took the actual time to write these thoughts down on that expensive light blue paper, his voice gets to continue speaking. Clearly and directly, right into his grandson's mind, exactly when Mark needs it the most. So, the absolutely crucial point here is how Alvin ends the letter. He outlines his final requests, and it demonstrates how this document is explicitly designed to guide not just Mark, but generations to come. He tells Mark, pick yourself up after a few days. He says, mourn no more, but instead remember him with happiness. He asks Mark to share his memory with his future children. And really importantly, he charges Mark to carry out these sayings not just for himself, but to honor the Colesmith name, and for the man Mark truly is inside. And then, the letter concludes with this incredibly moving sign-off. Mark Titus Colesmith, you are the son I hope for. I love you, Grandpa Alvin. Just let the emotional weight of that deeply personal sign-off resonate for a second. To have those words, you are the son I hope for, solidified in writing forever, wow, it's an ultimate blessing being passed straight from one generation to the next. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today, but I really want to leave you with a thought. We've seen the incredible, life-shaping power of a well-crafted, intentional letter. We've seen how it can offer immense comfort in grief, super practical advice for adulthood, and a lasting legacy for the future. So my question to you is this: who in your life needs a letter from you today? Seriously, whose life could you impact just by taking a little bit of time to put your thoughts, your hopes, and your guidance down on paper? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating topic. I highly encourage you to go grab a pen, and I'll see you next time.